Hello, I am Dr. Nelva Lee. I am the CEO and founder of MiTio, and today I will go over the 7 steps to obtaining consulting services with MiTio. Who is this webinar for? First of all, organizations in need of diversity and inclusion consulting and training. Tech organizations looking for a cost-effective solution to their diversity and inclusion disparity needs. Stakeholders wanting a guaranteed improvement in their diversity and inclusion numbers. Stakeholders in need of a quality virtual solution, and stakeholders in need of any of our comprehensive consulting services. In the next 25 minutes, I will explain how to obtain a plug-and-play consulting service that is cost-effective and intuitive to use from day one. How to improve your diversity and inclusion numbers organization-wide, and how to improve diversity and inclusion with remote workers. Basically, everything you need to know so that you get a comprehensive consulting service that meets all of your diversity and inclusion needs. Here are the house rules for today's webinar. This is not a gimmick. This is not a do nothing but click a button process. This is not how to get fake diversity and inclusion results. You must be in need of an improvement in your diversity and inclusion numbers, and you must be committed to improving your diversity and inclusion numbers organization-wide. Continuing with the house rules, you must be willing to explore a more comprehensive and turnkey system. Be willing to abandon the notion that only in-house diversity and inclusion czars are the answer, and be willing to outsource the assessment, analysis, consulting, and training process to a proven provider. Does this sound like you? You have been told by outsiders that you need to hire 13% Black and 18% Hispanics to reach your diversity numbers. Are the minorities in your company, to include women, complaining that they do not have a critical mass? They are not part of your community. Do you advertise for qualified minority employees, but most of your applicants do not fit your company culture? Even when you interview and hire minorities into your company, they're not engaged or a part of the culture of your company. Do you work feverishly at recruiting diverse individuals, but find out after hiring them that they do not meet your qualifications? Are you being told by both employees and outside groups that your company culture is toxic? Are you having difficulty engaging with your diverse employees who work in a remote setting? And are you working to hire and retain a diverse workforce and wish you had a guarantee that your efforts would last? Do you feel like every year the cost of recruitment and retention of qualified diverse staff keeps rising? Do you want to reduce expenses for your company and still hire and retain the best trained and qualified diverse workers? Do you feel like there's an invisible ceiling on the amount of qualified diverse staff you can hire each year? Do you feel like you're ready to outsource the assessment, analysis, consulting, and training to achieve a diverse staff, but don't know how to start? The real problem is that you are stuck in the old model and haven't moved to the highly sought after and lucrative new model of partnering with a comprehensive diversity and inclusion consulting service. When you move to the new model, the invisible ceiling on diversity and inclusion within your organization will disappear, and you will achieve the engagement and critical mass that you are seeking from your diverse staff. You will attract and retain the qualified diverse staff that you are seeking, and you will do all of this while tapping into the turnkey system of MiTio Consulting while you eliminate the long-term expenses of an in-house czar. You will know how to navigate the diversity, higher blind spots that you and your leadership may have, and you will be able to easily assess your areas of greatest need and improvement, and will have a roadmap and next steps. You will be guided step by step on the ways to improve the diversity and inclusion within your organization and retain these improvements long-term. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Nelva Lee. I'm the CEO and founder of MiTio. I am a native of Panama with over 20 years of healthcare administration experience and over 20 years of academia experience as an adjunct professor. I founded MiTio in 2004 with the express goal of providing a flexible and comprehensive training program. I was the first chair of the National Board of Certification for Medical Interpreters, and I specialize in helping diverse individuals find their place within an organization. Throughout this presentation, I will highlight several of our partners, and I will basically give a little bit of their testimonials about their services and their partnership with us. Wellstar Hospital trained over 89 of their diverse staff with MiTio back in 2014, and here's a picture of them proudly displaying their certificates. Eagles Landing Family Practice, we have worked with them for several years. They're one of our current partners, and this is what they said about MiTio. The quality of work and customer support is some of the best that we have experienced. Here's one of our one of our graduates, Kippy Lipham. She graduated back in 2014 and is currently a coordinator for Grady Health System and a brand ambassador for MiTio's training programs. Heartland Alliance, another of our partners, trained over 50 of their interpreters, their diverse staff with MiTio. Land Consult, a company based out of South Africa, trained their diverse staff with MiTio. And Cardiovascular Clinic of North Georgia, a current partner, has used some of MiTio's remote services. Likewise, Aviator Home Health has used our services as well. And that's just the start of it. In the past 18 years, MiTio has trained close to 2,000 diverse staff. We know what to look for, and we know how to get you results. So here are the 7 steps to obtaining comprehensive consulting services with MiTio. Step 1, you must stop focusing on your diversity numbers and start focusing on inclusion. Do not allow diversity to diminish inclusion. Studies have found that our brains are wired to believe that others threaten our survival. Changing a hardwired behavior is difficult at best, impossible in most cases. The inverse is that we are also wired to spot equity, lack of inclusion, as a threat to our survival. So leaning into solving the equity inclusion problem automatically solves the diversity problem. Equity is easily achieved when we set a goal towards it. We get leadership behind it and set a time step on it. Another one of our partners, HealthLink, trained their diverse staff through MiTio. Step number 2, you must uncover blind spots. Believing that you understand each individual culture of your diverse staff is your first mistake. Not only do diverse staff come with their own set of cultures, but with their own set of challenges to overcome. Leaning in to learning and embracing those cultural differences and challenges is the first step toward a more robust organizational culture. Studies have found that whenever you have diverse cultures interacting on projects, the results are more creative and productive than produced by homogeneous groups. Another one of our partners, Memorial Health, trained their diverse staff through MiTio. Step 3, eliminate unnecessary barriers. The way we have always done it, that's the best way to remain in the past. If you want to be inclusive and encourage engagement of your diverse staff, finding new ways to do business is essential. The smallest, seemingly innocuous process could be a major barrier to engagement with your diverse staff. So be ruthless about finding out what these unnecessary barriers are and eliminate them quickly. We all know that pivoting externally with market demands is essential to remaining in business, but pivoting internally with employee demands is also essential to remaining relevant. Another one of our partners, Ochsner Healthcare System, trained their diverse staff with MiTio. Step 4, set SMART goals for diversity and inclusion. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So for specific, what numbers and or engagement levels do we want to achieve in diversity company-wide? Measurable, how will we track our progress? Achievable, have other organizations achieved these goals, and can we? Realistic, do we have leadership and company-wide buy-in and willingness to complete this goal? And lastly, time-bound, what is our deadline for achieving these goals? Another one of our partnerships, University of Maryland Medical System, they train their diverse staff through MiTio. Step 5, properly assess the diversity and inclusion gap. If you don't know where you started and where you are going, how do you know when you get there? Assessment is essential because it uncovers the blind spots and the unnecessary barriers to inclusion. Once properly assessed, a company and its leadership can make a detailed and specific plan to achieve their desired goals. Assessment must be done at the end of the process as well to ensure that all areas of that original assessment were achieved and to ensure that no issues were left unsolved. Step 6, thoroughly analyze the assessment. Once you have properly assessed your organization's diversity gaps, blind spots, and barriers, you can then analyze the findings and compare with organizations of your size and function. Thorough analysis ensures that you are not solving problems that do not need to be solved and that you are not overlooking solutions that can easily be replicated from tried and true processes elsewhere. Lastly, analysis ensures that decisions and goal setting is done based on data and not emotions. Data-driven goal setting is key to lasting improvement. Another one of our partnerships, the U.S. Oncology Network, they train their diverse staff through MiTio, and they said that we offer them great guidance and motivation for their staff. Step 7, consulting and training for an inclusive culture. After you have identified your gaps, blind spots, and barriers, you have analyzed the data and have developed SMART goals around the data. Now you can begin the fun part, the training of your staff. Our consulting service will ensure that not only will your leadership change, but your organization will make the desired cultural changes to properly engage with your diverse staff going forward. Our consulting service will ensure that not only will your in-person staff learn better engagement tools, but so will your remote workers. It is imperative that you have peace of mind in the diversity and inclusion process that you put in place, and therefore we have a 30-day guarantee, money-back guarantee on all of our consulting services. Now you basically have two options at this point. Number 1, continue with your failed and expensive diversity and inclusion efforts. Or option 2, obtain our consulting and training service for diversity and inclusion with our turnkey system. Now, if you're smart and you go with option 2 and decide to obtain MiTio's consulting services, here's what we can offer you. Here's a rough timeline for how you can get your first MiTio consulting assessment and analysis. Number 1, you'll begin the program immediately after you complete our onboarding process. You can complete the onboarding process in as little as 45 minutes. And you can obtain an invitation for our platform, accept the invitation, and begin your assessment on day 1. Upon completion of your assessment, you can set up your first virtual analysis of that assessment. And that's just in the first call. So if this sounds like you, and you want to have access to a comprehensive diversity and inclusion system over the next 5 days, I have set aside some time to talk to you and see if I can help. This call will probably be the most valuable 45 minutes that you spend on your retainment efforts this year. So again, who is this for? organizations in need of diversity and inclusion consulting and training, tech organizations looking for a cost-effective solution to the diversity and inclusion disparity needs, stakeholders wanting a guaranteed improvement in their diversity and inclusion numbers, stakeholders in need of a quality virtual solution, and stakeholders in need of any of our comprehensive consulting services. So please schedule a call below. Over 230 organizations a week log in to watch this webinar, and my schedule can only handle 14 calls for the next 5 days. So you must schedule a call now. Thank you for your time and have a great day.